Welcome back to the greenhouse. It's a rather warm day. I shut my solar fans off so you guys could hear me. Today, I was out here transplanting, just constantly transplanting. As you can see, I've got a sea of plants in this greenhouse. Now, something I do thousands of times a season and take for granted, I'd like to share the transplanting tips. It's very simple know-how. So if that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. Let's jump right into this. So what are we looking at here? Check out all of these tomatoes. Now, I sow them this heavy when I don't pay for the seeds. So I've got maybe 5 to 7 tomatoes in each cell here. Same thing with our pineapple tomatillo. Now, if I'm paying for the crops and I'm paying for seeds, ordering a new variety, then I'm going to put 1 to 2 seeds per cell. But being that we've saved thousands and thousands of this variety of tomato and these tomatillos, we can pretty well just do whatever we want. And I sow them very heavily so I can save space. Now I'm planting all of these. This will fill up almost an entire flat of potted plants for our farmer's market or for ourselves to put in the ground. So now that that's out of the way, we've got all of this soil. So the first thing you want is good perlite, vermiculite, rich soil. Not too heavy. Now there's a giant rock that came in our soil, but for the most part, if you buy expensive soil or the pricier side, you will get pretty decent quality on your soil. Not a whole lot of fillers and all the extra BS. We fill and stretch our soils with sand and compost and all of our own items to stretch the dollars that we can potentially make and that we're investing. Having that good solid soil base is very important to the start of life and then for the transplant and later in life. So we've got all of these and you can see they have all of their leaves. So when I say true leaves, now this is a bell pepper and it's actually got its true leaves popping, but it looks like it's just got its first 2 basic leaves. So you want to wait until those second true leaves, the second set of leaves starts to pop off and it's got some distinguishing features, and that is going to tell you those crops are ready, and getting an early start on all these is very important. These are like 2 to 3 weeks plus in the making just to get to that point where we can get them in a larger pot and grow them bigger. I will say again that I recommend everybody pot 1 to 2 seeds per cell, not 5, 6, 7, or 10. I have unlimited seeds basically, so I just throw as many as I can, save myself the room, and then this is something you're also supposed to not do. I can pick them up right out and hold them by their actual stems. That is a huge no-no when transplanting, because if you've only got 1 to 2 seeds that sprout in that cell and you paid for those seeds and you really can't lose them, you have to be as gentle as possible. So when we're taking these out, this is the more correct way. So you can see I just got my finger, I'm not pinching. So the pinching will come at the base and then comes right out. So no harm done to any of these tomatoes, but they are very strong. They've been in here a little bit too long. Now that they've been in here so long, we've got to deal with this mass of roots. Now the number one key is a little bit of water and just dunking them. Just dip, dip, dip. And now we've got a much smaller mass. And while we put them in the water, I can slowly peel them apart. And just very quickly, I separated that out into 2 separate pods, and just by redunking in water, nice and loose, easily come apart. Very easy to split and separate out individual plants. So the next step of that process would be to actually transplant it to a new pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the new pot that I just filled up halfway a little bit of water. So we've got our soil and we just cleared out a nice little cavity in the center. We've got 1 tomato, drop it right down in there, and we can just pinch her closed. And that is it. Very easy. Now I will say that I water all of these before I start popping them out, because like this tomatillo, these are dry and those are going to be very difficult to get out and separate. And on the same hand, you can just simply not water and dip those individual cells into a small cup of water like I did, and you can slowly break them apart. It just takes a little bit longer as the soil has to absorb and you've got to break all of those bonds down. So with this tomato, I am adding a little bit more soil and then just kind of tamping it down. And you can see as I blow on it, that tomato stands nice and strong, straight up. And as you can see, we've got a sea of tomatoes and peppers and all types of stuff behind me that I've done this process with many, many times over, and I just wanted to share very simple basics. So being in the greenhouse allows us to transplant right directly in the sunshine because we've got a 20% shade cloth, 80% of light is getting to all of these plants, which is not going to damage it as the roots come out and stuff. But doing this out on a table in the sun or something like that may give you worse results. And we definitely want to keep these protected from direct sunlight, just like your cuttings and fresh starts. You want to give these at least 3 to 4 days, even a week, in the greenhouse before you start to re-harden them off. Using all of our solar fans and anything we can, leaving the doors open as wind blows through, just that slight movement makes your plants a lot stronger. So as you guys can see, I lost my beard somewhere. I'm sure I'll find it in a couple days. Don't take very long for it to come back. So let's take a look in here. We've got a mess of crops, all our kales, heading collards, big old patch of watercress, lots and lots of tomatoes, and every one of these plants was done with this exact process that I just shared with you guys today. All of our perennials. We have got a massive amount of crops in here, and looking down here, we've got all of those pineapple tomatillos that we transplanted from a flat that looked just like that with all the cells. We are about a week to 2 weeks away from our market starting. It bumped up an entire month for the start date. Usually we start in June, now we're starting in May. So it'll be interesting because there's nothing in the ground yet other than cold hardy crops, corn, wheat, things that can be planted from seed. So it will be an interesting season. This probably wasn't the most interesting video. Hopefully somebody got something from it. If anybody has any questions on anything they see in the greenhouse, or on specific plants that are trickier to get going and started, definitely drop those to me in the comments below. So hopefully everyone got something from this video here. Just wanted to share my transplanting. And we will be sharing a compost heater video here very soon. I pulled my tarp off my compost down there, and the squirrels from the trees, they are just ravaging through it. So they're helping me stir it up and break it down and bring a little bit more heat to it overnight. So I still have a ton of work to do. And with that, I will let you guys go, and I'll see you in the next video.